Manifestation has become a widely discussed concept. You probably heard it, seen it, went through many iterations of it, and yet you might be feeling stuck. You might be wondering why it's not working. There are many things which are generally discussed. Think positively, visualize what you want, feel as if it's already exists. And for some people, this seems to work, but for many others, it doesn't. They try affirmations, they visualize outcomes, they stay consistent, yet nothing changes. So the question becomes, does manifestation actually works or is something missing? Today we are going to explore what manifestation really involves and why it often fails. Here lies the common misunderstanding in that. Most people approach manifestation as a thinking process. If I think positively, my life will change. I was one of them. At initial stages, I was also taking this hope that if I do think positively, it should change, isn't it? But thinking is only one part of the system, which is where I was lacking. Human behavior is influenced by many things: thoughts, emotion, body condition. That's why we overthink, that's why we feel so many different outcomes at multiple times. And our body condition is something which showcases of how we are responding and how we are feeling overall. If these are not aligned, change becomes very difficult. This is where the role of nervous system plays a huge part. The nervous system plays a major role in how we respond to life. It stores familiar emotional states in stress, fear, uncertainty. When these states are repeated, they become the default. This means even if someone thinks positively, their body may still operate from stress. And behavior follows the body more than the thought, because the body actually showcases how you're feeling. That's why there are so many things associated with that as well. The root chakra, which showcases the confidence, the how openly you're standing, how chest is presented, also showcases how you're feeling, how confident you are. So your body indirectly and subconsciously plays a huge pattern here. That's why guiding your body and analyzing these patterns and states are very much important for the manifestation to actually start working. Now, you might be taking many action, but action doesn't change these just like that. Many of my clients say that I'm doing everything right, but nothing is working. But when you observe closely, patterns appear. Decisions remain similar, reaction remains similar, risk tolerance remains the same, because internal conditioning has not changed. Due to which, even though we talk positively to ourselves, but all this internal change, the responses, reactions, the decisions, they have not changed, so they comprehend something else. They showcase something else to the universe. Your energy output, which is given out, is portraying something else altogether. Joe Dispenza's perspective is one of the best example to consider. He often explains that the body becomes conditioned to certain emotion state, and over time the body memorizes these emotions and begins to live in the past. Even when mind is trying to move forward, this creates a gap between intention and reality. So when we decide to change, when we decide to think positive, when we decide to manifest, it's very important for our new identity, new intention to align with our new reaction and new experiences and new way of putting out ourselves. So if you want to learn what actually shifts reality, note this down. Manifestation becomes effective when internal state changes. First, very important. Second is emotional patterns shift. And third is behavior aligns with your intention. When these three things happen, decisions will change, actions will change, consistency improves, and outcome begins to shift, because this will make sure you are aligned whole to what you want to manifest. And when it put it out in this manner, your energy is coherent with who you want to become. What are you manifesting? It's all in one direction. And with this pure energy dedicated in one direction of manifestation, with all our emotions into picture, your universe responds to this one clean energy towards one dedicated thing what we're manifesting. In reset entropy, this is seen as internal disorder, the mismatch. When the internal patterns are chaotic or repetitive, external life reflects that. As internal state becomes more aligned, life begins to feel more structured and clearer. That is why the first step what I teach in my coursework is pattern breaker. In pattern breaker, I teach people to come out of their patterns, the loops they are in, because many people don't realize that they are in a loop, but they do feel it internally. But addressing that is also sometimes not taken into account. I was myself like that for many years. I used to think that I will just work harder, focus more on work. Maybe I'm not doing it enough. I was answering it in a wrong manner. Whereas for my case, it was misalignment. My work was misaligned with who I was. That's why it was not working out for me. That's why I could feel a disconnect in my case. That is why pattern breaker becomes the first step. Then the second step comes, which is purpose beyond entropy. That is when you put aside the entropy factor, which is the dedicated reason behind the pattern and loops and the disorder, and you go and search for the true purpose of your life. That is when throughout the journey you learn manifestation, gratitude, and that is when you learn to apply it to the thing which is actually connected to you, to your energy, to your consciousness. So manifestation is not just about thinking differently, it's about becoming different internally. Because once your internal state changes, your external reality begins to follow.